All right. So, last session, you guys unfortunately lost Mayman, who was killed by actually Madolfir, although he took a lot of damage before that. The massive damage that Madolfir did while under his kind of feral berserker state was the death blow to Mayman. He is dead. He's not just knocked down or unconscious. You guys did cast Gentle Repose on him after all the enemies had either retreated or were dead. You guys also conducted a couple of experiments with this strange, almost like electrical streaming force that reminds you of the energy that you saw in the outlands and outer planes. It was a weird arcane energy that was clearly coming from planar inference, but in the consideration of time and the potential of enemies coming back, you guys started to devise a plan, Madolfir particularly, about getting out of here as quickly as possible. So with that, what is your plan to get out of here? You guys still do have Darius and Jameson. Jameson is kind of like holding his staff of teleportation, stating that he does have the ability to teleport once today. And before we start, Mayman's Gentle Repose will be 3 days as of right now. So, what are you guys thinking you're doing?
Madolfir is basically at this point kind of like one hand on his collar on what's his name?
Mayman.
No. The Acer Magica guy. The one with the staff.
Jameson. Yeah, Jameson.
And pleading with him to teleport us, including Mayman's body. Or he's only speaking for Madolfir is only speaking for Madolfir. Madolfir with Mayman's body to its homeland.
Okay.
A shaman, just has the ability to break through the veil and bring Mayman back into this world.
Okay. Lanray, Max, Jameson, and Darius are of the immediate mindset of if there's a person out there that can do some sort of revival on Mayman, we need to get to it quickly. They had brought up the Master Cleric Nantes, but given that nobody knows if he's even alive, given what's happening in the city, it's unlikely. They are agreeing with Madolfir and just looking at you two to see confirmation if you are coming. The only caveat here is that one person has to stay behind, either an animal or a person, because the maximum total is 6 that can go. Darius is stating that he is willing to retreat out of this place and wait for his turn to come.
What's the count?
6. So in this case, Varg and Meldo are counting against that, as well as Kiddis. I'm counting Meldo and Kiddis as 1 since they're kind of both tiny. And of course, Mayman doesn't count. He is now an object at this point.
Madolfir is also. Go ahead, guys.
Can we shove the small animals into the bag of holding for the 10 seconds that we're going to be teleporting?
Yeah.
So then...
It's a little bit risky. I mean, there's no oxygen in the bag of holding, is there? Or am I thinking the handy haversack?
No, there's specifically a thing in there about, not being able to make it a certain amount of time, but
breathing creatures inside the bag. Yeah, inside the bag, equal number of minutes equal to 10 divided by the number of creatures. So yeah, for like a very quick teleportation, it should be fine. You're right about that.
I say, I look over at, let's see, hold on. Are they both landrace creatures?
One is Modolfiers and one is Landrace.
Okay. I look at the two of you and I say, quick, tell your animals to get in here. Well, not Varg. He's too big. Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll tell Meldo and I'll just say, yeah, let's go.
So potential problem with that, right? Meldo is a bird and Kidus is a cat, a small cat. So
they'll have fun together. I wouldn't worry about it.
Okay, how about this? I have a bag of holding and a handy haversack. The smaller one can go into the handy haversack.
Let's see.
yeah, I mean, if GM's fine with that, fine. Otherwise, Modolfer is prepared to tell.
Okay. Let me just check one thing. I'll allow it since it's so quick. They can survive it. Yeah, it says the same language for both.
Yeah, they're both extra-dimensional spaces. I mean, they work
just
the
without
same way.
oxygen. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you could put Kidus in one and
I mean,
Meldo
it
in the
doesn't
other.
specifically call out oxygen, but
Right. Well, it says in the text essentially that breathing creatures inside the bag can only blah blah blah. So, I guess from inference, but that's true. All right. So Meldo's going into the handy haversack. Kidus is going into the bag of holding. Yes.
Yeah, that's fine.
Whatever way makes more sense.
Sounds good. Yeah.
Size-wise.
Okay. Now, they tell you that they've only seen. They ask you specifically, Modolfir, where are we going to? Is it your original tribal village? Is it Great Endur? They tell you they've been to Great Endur before. Okay.
It would be Great Endur because that's where the shaman is. Old acquaintance Sarah.
Well, he's outside. He's in the North Hills of Great Endur, actually. He's not within the city, typically. Like, he has his own place that you know of. But you can start in Great Endur.
It's like immediately outside, right? Like a suburb, like a half day time, right?
Yeah, I mean, essentially, it would be within a few miles of the city. It is not out in the wilderness. It's up in the high hills, so there's some travel time, but...
So just explain that to them, but also be like, get to Great Endur, we can get to wherever we need.
Okay. So they are, I will say, casually familiar with Great Endur. So for the purpose of the teleportation, it's the following chart. Just stick this in the link. So essentially, on target will have to be between 1 and 88. Off target will be 89 to 94. Mishap will be 95 to 98. 99 similar areas 95 to 98, and mishap is 99 to 100. I need somebody to step up and say they will roll the 1d100. So go ahead and somebody volunteer.
I guess I can do it.
Okay. Yeah, Landry, go for it. I was
gonna say I've already killed one party member. I mean,
Modolfir TPKs everyone. Alright. Okay, that's good. That's very good. As you all gather, after putting the animals into the two sacks, holding each other closely, huddled, you notice that one of the people starts running back into this dungeon space, and then you see others behind them. But just as they're entering, you all bamf. And in a split second, you all reappear within the north region of Gradendur. So let's go to the map. Just as a reminder of where you are. So I'm going to pull you into the correct map. Okay. Now, as this happens, Jameson, as you all land, kind of gives Max a look and says, Max, there was something strange about that teleportation. It seemed more difficult than usual. We came through it okay, but that was a bit concerning for future reference. Essentially, there was a little bit of an additional potential for you all to have a mishap or not successfully have achieved it, but the 49 was well within the range.
Max opens up the bags real quick to let the animals out.
Okay, as they come out, you see kind of like a little bit of a strange acting Meldo and Kiddis that kind of shake it off, and then Kiddis jumps directly onto Madolfir's shoulder, and Meldo does the same. They appear to be okay. No problems there. So yeah, Gradendur is the half-orc capital of Bacchus. You're familiar with it somewhat, Madolfir. It wasn't necessarily a place I think that you went to a lot, but yeah, why don't you sort of confirm what your level of familiarity with the city was?
So, I mean, the Wolfenbeer tribal, they didn't have much to do on a daily basis with the civilizations that wanted to live within walls and constructs. However, they weren't without their uses or friendships. The Wolfenbeer did a lot of trading of goods and every now and then services with the tradesmen of Gradendur. So quite regularly, there would be a contingent of the Wolfenbeer that would travel into Gradendur on a trade, on a trade basis. Some of the things that the Wolfenbeer liked to have around that were not readily available in Bacchus plains and forests were easy enough to get here, and it was a nice little break from day-to-day life. So I think like you see in 1920s, 30s America, where the family would have the occasional trip into town, right? But for the most part, lived out on the frontier. So.
Okay. The rest of you who have not been to Gradendur before, you look around and you see kind of simplistic stone construction. Think kind of like Central American, tribal, sort of large stone, monolithic construction of some of the buildings. But in the distance, there is Gradendur Castle. It is not a castle for a king, as there is no king or leader of Bacchus. It is kind of a communally run civilization. But it is the great sort of keep that has protected the citizens in times of trouble. There are many shops. Some of the people around you right now, it is midday when you arrive here. The same as it was in Terthus. Some of the half-orc persons around the city are kind of surprised that you appeared out of nothing, especially since some of you are not half-orc. One of the half-orc sort of older ladies who's selling fruit at a fruit stand kind of runs over in the street and gathers a small half-orc child and just kind of like pulls them over behind the stand away from you all, and kind of just has like a little bit of a suspicious look at you all. And then she returns back to trying to sell you fruit, basically. Is there anything in the city that you are doing? By the way, you are carrying a dead body, so that might also be a potential reason why people are cowering a little bit.
Max buys a fruit.
Okay, go ahead and remove a copper. It's a pricey fruit.
Madolfer's gonna head towards his destination.
Okay.
He's just gonna, he's gonna say to the group of us that he's not gonna waste any time. He's heading towards Terthus on the outskirts of town, and that as with any other civilization, watch your coin purse, be aware, but he's largely a peaceful folk, except when provoked.
Okay. There are shops in town if anybody needs anything. It is not as obviously wealthy and readily available in supplies as Terthus, but there are still shops. You do pass them as Madolfir sort of single-mindedly heads towards what he knows to be the north gate, the gate closest to the actual keep of Gradendur. Max, Landry, are you looking for anything else to purchase as you're walking past these kinds of shops? There's a tavern. There's a gear shop that seems to be selling sort of like outdoorsy equipment, like climbing gear, things like that. You don't see any magic shops on this particular path.
Is there anything climate-wise that jumps out at us immediately?
This is a valley at the south end of some hills that rise into the sort of the Bonin Highlands. That temperature-wise, right now, you feel pretty comfortable in the similar close to Terthus. Maybe a little bit cooler, obviously, than Terthus, but recently Terthus has had some cold weather, so no, you're about right.
Does it feel like we're in the same kind of altered weather patterns kind of a thing here, or does it seem like this is natural for this area at this time of year, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera?
Yeah, Madolfir immediately can pick up on the fact that for this time of year, the weather is pretty typical of Bacchus. There's not like a strange temperature or precipitation going on. This is the kind of gray sky and temperature that is very typical of Bacchus. Let me double check what the actual date is today. The date today.
Okay, so does not seem to be under the same effects as Terthus was seeing, or the North in general was seeing.
Correct. No, it is not experiencing that. Today is the 6th, Sunday, the 6th of Ferrist. It's still the year 4319, as far as you know. So that is pretty typical for the weather of, pretty early month of the year. Kind of just starting to get into spring.
I looked at Madolfir and I say, are we going to need to go into the mountains to find this contact of yours?
Madolfir, I'll help you with that. The location that you believe the shaman's hut is through a portion of the Bonin foothills known as the High Walk. Much like many shamans, they generally don't live in the town or city because if they did, people would just constantly be hassling them and they would never get anything done. So yeah, I mean, it's not up in like a glacier environment, but it's going to be a little bit cooler, maybe a 1,500 or 2,000 foot climb from here.
Are we talking about this lake? What are we talking about?
It's north of the city, so it'll actually straddle this world map a little bit to the next map over. You guys currently are already sort of at the north end of the city, just at the walls.
You said this is the Boulder Pass?
Yeah, essentially the Boulder Pass region.
Okay, so we are going to have to go up, is what you're saying.
Yeah. About
Like
1,500 feet of climb.
Okay, so 1,500 feet. Are we going to need cold weather gear? Thinking, do I have it? I don't know.
Madolfir, you don't believe that it'll be cold enough at that elevation. Now, if you continued north for a couple days' journey into some of those highlands, it could get a lot colder at night, but no, you shouldn't need cold weather clothing.
Yeah, just kind of give them a general idea of weather, for the area. If they're feeling a little thin bone, they may want to pick up an overcloak or something. But yeah, other than that, they should be fine.
Okay. Landra, you still have that sweet Technicolor cloak that you obtained from Afta Prill.
Right. So it should be okay.
Yeah. So, Medolfir leading the way, not stopping for any shopping. You all get to the road that heads out of town. It kind of follows the escarpments of the edge of the foothills. I'll give you a little picture. I think some of you have seen this before. So, with the keep in the distance, you all make your way around the escarpments out of the city of Gradendur into the villages that surround the general region. I'm going to go ahead and pull you into this map. You guys are kind of straddling it, but this is generally more accurate to where you guys would be in a couple of hours. Okay. Hang on, let's pull the scene. Oh, it's being covered. Alright, everyone just go ahead and pull yourselves to the scene, I guess. Oh, here we go. There we go. So,
just make it active.
Yeah, there was a tab underneath it that was making it difficult to do that. It was kind of strange. Okay, so Medolfir leading the way north. You guys walk for about 3 hours. And Medolfir, the region starts becoming very familiar to you. You know this road quite well, out of the north of Gradendur. Sorry, I need to write something down real quick.
So where are we on this map?
Where it says Boulder Pass right now, you guys are just kind of like 1 or 2 miles into the south side of the map. Okay. Up ahead, you all start seeing the signs of little hovels, maybe a little outlay town that is a village coming up. And Medolfir, you know this to be Arden Pass. Let me message you something into your OOS.
There's a warrant out for your arrest here.
Yeah. So yeah, up ahead, you have to go through this town in order to continue towards where you know the high walk is, Medolfir. Are you guys continuing on? It's, about 1,000 feet up the road, a little bit.
In a very somber manner, yes. I'll finish here.
Okay.
Kind of like everybody else, you see Medolfir just kind of steel himself, brace himself, for no reason in particular that long.
Okay. Varg leading the way ahead, kind of slumped along with you a little bit.
Yeah, and then, of course, taking a path I know that would get us through here as quick as possible, just because, not because of the sense of danger, but because of, emotional history tied to it.
Okay. You all can see the map now, right?
Yes.
Okay. As you walk up the road from this kind of left side, Medolfir knows that the exit from the town is this little village is essentially on the north side. You guys start coming in. A couple of the half-orcs that are moving about, kind of looks strangely over to the group, noticing Mayman on the shoulder of Adolphir still. One kind of walks up. Morok, stranger. What?
Are these Wolfenberg?
You look at this group that walks up, this person that walks up. They are not Wolfendeer. These are Kengerbos. Let me copy paste. Kengerbos. Friends of the Wolfendeer. One that walks up to you and like greets you and is mostly focused on Main Man, kind of goes, "You are familiar," and he's saying this in Orcish. The rest of you cannot understand what they are talking about. Mokhra, what brings you here?
In Orcish, terrible fate has befallen one of whom I call friends. I seek Therog to see if he can wrest his soul back to the living.
Thorok. It's been some time since we've had Thorok down here in the village. Don't know why. We've actually been sending message birds up to him. We can't seem to get the well to work, and without the well, the salve master is unable to make the necessary salves that we use to sell back in Graydon Dur. And now you notice he kind of looks over to what looks like a shop, one of the few shops in this village. Everything else kind of looks, for the most part, like a dwelling. And he's referring to this shop right here as the Braha's Salve Shop. And this is to you, Midolfir. The rest of you are kind of just awkwardly standing about as they talk Orcish. You see also back here in the upper right corner, there's some sort of like little tiny stable. And you notice the famous Graydon ponies, these little gray ponies that are a large trade item between Bacchus and the gnomish people of the crag, because the ponies are rideable and usable for small creatures. And then lastly, you see the well that you're standing at, but off in the corner behind some trees, you also see somewhat of a forge. Midolfir, that forge is very familiar to you. The stranger just, the half-orc just kind of goes, well, yeah, Thorok, we haven't seen him in some time.
Who has taken the place of Shaman?
We have no replacement. It's just that he hasn't come down from the High Walk in some time. I think it's been 2 weeks that this well has also not been working. We've been sending messages to him, but nothing in response. And then you see in the well that the well is like filled with water all the way to the brim. And he's taking a cup out, and the water that he's pulling out is like fly-ridden and stagnant. This water we collected from rain and poured it into the well for keeping, but it is not good water. We don't know what's happened, but before the well was completely dry, no matter how many times we tried to gather water from it.
Not to him, to you. How far away is the place that he says they are headed to?
From here, the High Walk, under normal weather conditions and everything, if you didn't get any delays, would be about a full day's journey. 1 full day, so I would say like beyond 8 hours, just beyond 8 hours. You'd have to kind of push it a little bit at the end to get there. At this time, by the time you get to this town, we said it was getting closer to nighttime. It's like 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon at this point. The sun goes down a little bit earlier around these parts in Terthus, but not noticeably so.
Midolfir is generally familiar with the path to get to where we go.
Yes, you do know how to get to Thorok. You've done that journey a few times before.
Okay. Ask him if there's been any recent signs of danger in the area, especially on that direction.
Okay. As you mentioned the word danger, he kind of looks over at Max and Lanray and looks them up and down, and then notices Mayman again on your shoulder. He seems a little tight-lipped at the question, preoccupied.
What is it that? What is it that?
What was that?
Sorry. While this is happening, can Max try to put the pearl of speech onto his tongue to see if he understands Orcish now? Because he doesn't know what language it is supposed to impart.
Okay, yeah, go for it.
Yeah, so I put that, I kind of like just pop a pill, right? Like place it on my tongue. And like each pearl is supposed to be a specific language, but I don't see it in the item spec,
Yep.
so do I understand Orcish once that happens?
Hold on 1 second. I gotta check in my GM notes on it. Nope. You do not speak Orcish.
Do I know what language?
Give me a spellcraft. Now that you are not, and you have some little bit of time, as they're talking in Orcish. Okay, yeah. As you attempt to use it to speak Orcish, you get the sense that this actually speaks. I think it's Infernal. Let me double check. Yeah, Infernal.
I act like it's really bitter, and I say the command word to release it from my tongue. Put it back in my bag. Well, that was... I do all this silently, not to interrupt.
Sure.
Even though in meta, I totally interrupted him.
Landry, you start perceiving that this guy is pretty suspicious of you. Do you want to roll a sense motive?
Yeah.
Okay. With that, you do get the sense that he's weary of outsiders, which makes sense from what Modolfir has told you of Bacchus. You may have more troubles as a non-half-orc here than other places that are more open and sort of welcoming of strangers. This gentleman, this half-orc, says to Modolfir, "I am Ordag Ka of the Kengerbos tribe. I am glad to hear that you and your fellow traveling persons are planning to leave." And he sort of says in common, in very broken common to you and Max Lanray, he goes, and Darius and Jameson, who are behind and also looking wizardry. "Magic, scary here. Go far away."
Does Max get the sense that this guy can tell that Max and Modolfir that are like basically close to death right now?
Yeah, I mean, you guys are bloody as hell. Lanray is fine. Jameson is fine, but Darius and Max and Modolfir, you guys are running on fumes. He looks at you and says, magic folk. And then he kind of shrugs his head and he starts speaking Orcish again. Sorry, I can't speak in that language. It's awful. If there is any way you can help with the well, what is your name again? I have introduced myself, Ordag Ka. Who are you?
Modolfir.
He's asking.
And then look at him, and kind of like with a side eye of the Wolfenveer.
His eyebrows rise. Of the Wolfenveer? Huh. You may want to go to the forge. Max and Lanray, give me a spot check while this is happening. You guys are literally just kind of like doop-a-doop-a-doop. They're back to talking Orcish again. Lanray, you notice a placard at the bottom of the well.
Can Max see it once Landry points it out, or is it just like no?
Yeah, and can I see anything on it?
Yeah, as you approach, as they're talking, here, I'll show you this little quaint well. You guys kind of approach it. The water at the top of this well is very strange in that it's, it's full of water, but they're saying the well doesn't work, but it's very stagnant water. At the base of it, there's a little placard, not shown in the image. It says, in memory, the exact words are, in memory of the Wolfenveer, protectors of Boulder Pass, guardians of the Sacred Valley. Madolfir, he kind of nudges over to the forge. You may wish to go visit that, but in terms of the well, if there's any way your magic folk that you've brought here can actually utilize that magic to help us, we would be indebted. We don't have much in material goods, but we have good food and ointments that, of course, you are welcome to. The ointments, however, would normally cost coins so that we can continue to survive. But if you can do that, perhaps we can provide you some that would help with those injuries you carry.
So, in comment, I'm going to talk to the group. He asked that y'all maybe take a look at the well and see if anything magical can be done to fix why it is not working. And then switching back, Orcus looking at him, I'm going to wave my hand across the group, right? Like I'm indicating everybody, and I'm going to utter the Orcus word for tribe. And, explaining that these individuals, though not half Orcish, are considered as if of the same tribe for me, and everything that comes along with.
Yeah, he kind of nods and he goes, "Welcome, fellow Wolfenveer," and he kind of reaches out his hand to shake your arm, Max and Lanray. Do you accept it?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. He shakes vigorously. He's a very kind of paunch individual. He shakes your hand kind of vigorously at this. Well, if you have any way to solve this, Madolfir, we would be very accommodative of your folk coming through here. We really do need outside help on this.
Ask the Acer Magica guys, Max, if they can take a look at it magically.
Okay.
Does Max know if, have you mentioned that, generally magic is not great here, but they're trying to make an exception for you to use it on this well? Or
kind of explain the ground rules. Us big hulking types are not very fond of magic.
They're more suspicious than legal recourse. They're just suspicious of any magic users.
Okay. Max is gonna walk up to the well and use a cantrip to detect poison.
Okay.
So the spell says that I can do a wisdom check, but if that fails, I can do a craft alchemy. That's it?
Yeah.
So what should I roll?
Do a craft alchemy on this. You immediately can tell that the water is not poisoned, but it is also, this water is not. If you digested this, you could get some serious illnesses from it. It's not poisoned, but it's about as close as being a poison as fresh water would want to be.
Okay, so it's not poison in the sense that it has
venoms or poisons in it. No.
Elements in it, but it's bad because of life that's in it.
Yes.
It's pond scum.
It's pond scum.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. And I turn to them and I say, so this is not poisonous in any way, but it is very unhealthy. Do you know where the aquifer for this well comes from? What direction it flows?
Yes. It comes from the stream. He's like slowly picking up in your common. He understands it better than he speaks it. He speaks Orcish back to Middlefear. It comes from the stream that divides us from the High Walk. There is a portion of it that becomes an underground cave. But it is not. I don't know. This water is not of the aquifer that you see here. This water is rainwater that we have collected and poured in this just for storing. The aquifer itself seemingly has run dry. When we were dropping buckets in it, it's strange because it shouldn't be holding this water. But we poured water in it and it's filled up now from rainwater. It's very strange. Madolfir, as they're trying to figure this out, you notice a face that is almost familiar to you. Off by the forge. It is a female half-orc who you don't think you've ever met before, but her face is familiar.
Want to kind of check what I rolled to try to jog my memory.
You can do a wisdom check, just a baseline wisdom check, I guess.
Yeah.
You don't recognize this person, but Max, as you notice Madolfir's distraction, you notice a lot of similarities facially between these two people. Between Madolfir and the person that he's looking at. Like, a lot of the same facial structure.
Interesting. Can I do a nature check?
Sure. It appears to you pretty quickly that, these two people seem to share some genetics.
Max, leans over to Madolfir and says, Is that your cousin or something? And he kind of doesn't point and doesn't, directly look at her, but kind of, with his eyes, points off 90 degrees while looking away from her.
Madolfir, with that nudge, you're like, yeah, you think this is Wolfadin, your cousin, that you haven't seen since childhood.
I'm, of course, gonna head to her without, was kind of leaving Max's nudging, kind of hanging in there, kind of not returning type.
Okay.
Not intentionally, just the spark of recognition of anybody, let alone someone's family, is kind of a profound moment.
Okay. Yeah, Ordeg Ka is kind of watching the magicians trying their various tricks. Max trying to analyze it. Jameson has cast, I believe it was Jameson, has cast Prestidigitation just to see if he can fix if there's a hole or something, but the water's filling it. It's strange to him. As you run over towards the forge, the female half-orc, who you know to be Wolfadin, starts sort of jogging towards you. She's wearing a leather blacksmith's apron. She's carrying kind of a forge hammer. And as she's running towards you, she winds her hammer back as if she's going to swing it at you as you're approaching.
Wait, what? Hold on.
What are you doing?
Sense motive?
Okay, go ahead and do a sense motive.
Is she
Okay.
Legitimately trying to attack?
She is whining back. Oh, she rolled pretty good too. She is whining back, and you are not sure. You guys played as kids, roughhoused and used to play warriors. She's got a look of almost anger in her eyes as she's got this hammer ready to swing at your head. What are you doing?
Yeah, no. I'm gonna stop. I still got like knee man over one shoulder, but I'm gonna stop and give her kind of like go on, do it then. But I'm ready to do something.
Okay. As you rush up and then stop in place, she then realizes that you are carrying a body over your shoulder. It looked like, almost from the angle that you were carrying before, it looked like a sack of goods or something. But now as you approach closer, it's clearly the body of somebody wearing armor. And she also is taken aback, and she drops the hammer. And she goes, "Oh, cousin, I'm so sorry," in Orcish. "I was just playing like when we were kids. It was such a joy to see you. I did not realize you are here on urgent business. Who is this body that you carry?"
A dear friend, and I need to see Sarah. It is good to see you, and I wish it were under a circumstance where we could spend more time catching up. Right now, I really need to get to Sarah.
Thurak. It has been some time since he would camp here at Brahas. Has traveled high into the hills, back to his hut. I believe it is to get away from father. And she looks back, and you see your uncle sort of sitting in a chair in the forge, much older than last time you saw him. He was once kind of a great warrior, and now he looks aged, a little sort of battle-worn, not standing. She continues, "I believe it was the farmers from Graydon who wouldn't stop asking him to bless their crops. Yes, the shaman should be able to help if you can get to him. But it is late in this hour, and the high walk is dangerous at night with your stranger friends, your traveling friends, who surely can't see in the dark. Shall I inform father that we are to have guests? He was wondering in the night if you remain safe in your wanderings. He can retrieve many good meats from the smokehouse if you would honor the Wolfenden homestead."
Midolfo is just kind of like half mouth, half open, just kind of like he doesn't know what to say because up until this very moment he had resigned his fate to the fact that he was probably the last Wolfenden, and now not only does he know that there's two of the Wolfenbeer lineage still alive, they're relatives, and so he's just kind of like really like done.
Your uncle is your uncle from marriage only, which would make your cousin sort of half Wolfendeer, right? On the mother's side. Your aunt is no longer alive. So your cousin potentially could be the only living actual Wolfendeer that is alive.
And so just kind of like, yes, please. Me and my friends need rest, but we also need to make haste. If we could have a spot to sleep and food for our plate for the night.
Of course, your armors and weapon. Such travels you have been on. Perhaps you can tell us a few stories before you get your needed rest. And she notices the cuts on your arm. You have been in battle recently, I can see. We will try to get some ointments for you.
And then I'm gonna head to talk to Uncle. Yeah.
Okay. You go do so. You catch up with the uncle, who is surprised to see you and, is essentially trying to see, and he immediately starts getting some bandages and things to try to wrap some of your open cuts. The rest of you are still back at the well. You notice that Midolfir has gone into the forge building. Are you continuing to try to figure out what's going on with the well? And if so, how?
Okay, so I know that it's not poison. Could I using a combination of alchemy and like knowledge, could I devise some to figure out what exactly it is that's causing this water to be, scummy? Like what is it in the water that's,
I think from context, so just to save you some time, from context, you know that the water's scummy because it's basically being collected out of puddles and shallow waters and dumped in here. And it's not, you don't believe this water is actually of the aquifer based on what the half-orc has told you. They're basically filling this up, and somehow the water is filling up the well. Maybe there's something.
So the aquifer is like
down below.
The aquifer is like it's like clogged up, and so water seeping into porous rock and earth. It's just piling up. So they've been using this well traditionally.
Yes,
sorry.
And
so
potentially
that
like
traditionally.
Go ahead.
Hold on. Let me figure out why I think you're hearing me very delayed or something.
Yeah, there's a bit of a delay. So let me just explain. The guy does kind of say, like, perhaps the well has collapsed, but it is a traditional well. They literally were lowering buckets down into it and pulling water. So there was some sort of cavernous space down below. And now the only way they can keep water in this is if they pour it into the well, which is yucky water.
Can you hear me better now?
Yeah.
Okay. Does it seem like they've been using this well as more of like just like a trash can for bottled water previously?
It's clear they are not being discerning with the quality of water they're pouring into it, perhaps because of desperation. I mean, the closest actual water body is pretty decent distance away, so they might be just collecting it from not great sources and pouring it in there for safekeeping.
Okay.
And you kind of notice that. A guy with a half-orc does start walking up from the Graydon ponies and kind of pours a bucket into the well and says, I didn't need all of this today. And you can notice that as it comes up, it's very silty water.
Oh, gross. All right. I mean, even if I rest and prepare new spells, I have purified food and water, but I think it's only like 1 cubic foot right now. So like
per
that
level,
wouldn't.
I think.
Yeah, but I'm level 1 archivist, so.
Yeah, you're right.
It's a cleric thing. Yeah. So it wouldn't
Larry,
help.
do you have anything that could help?
Yeah, I don't believe so. I've been looking and there's really nothing that is.
Yeah, let me check. No.
Could I teach them to boil the goddamn water?
Yeah, you could just use your intelligence to show them how to like purify it and distill it. You want to try to make a quick distillation?
I pull out of the bag of holding. I pull out the full alchemy set with like the cauldron.
Awesome. Yes.
And like I set up a little right next to the well. I set up basically a little dispensary for clean water, and then I ask anybody that's going around like, "Hey, do you guys have some kindling or some firewood that I could use to make this water clean?"
Give me a diplomacy check, because you are like using hand motions and stuff to try to describe this and just like trying to be like descriptive.
Oh, so these guys don't understand common at all.
Oh, I'm sorry. The original half-orc that was standing by the well is assisting to some extent to translate. Yes, I will. I'll
still roll a diplomacy. It'll be comic relief. Yeah.
All I hear in the background is the Breath of the Wild like cooking music, like.
All right, Max. People start like listening to you just because you sort of have like an air of authority, and the guy who's standing there is, Ordagka is telling them to do this. That you are a masterful wizard from faraway lands here to purify the water and solve all of the problems. And they're just running around getting the materials that you need.
Okay. So I don't know how long it's going to take, but I do the process of literally boiling the water, and then transferring it to a clean, or skimming the top of it. Pouring the non-silt section into a flask. Or I have urns. I could probably fill some urns. Yeah.
All right, just roll me a 1d10. It's gonna be that many minutes.
Sure.
Just as a random as to how long it takes for these guys. All right.
That's
So
a
it takes
pretty.
you a few minutes.
Okay. That's for them to go get wood and stuff.
Yeah, essentially just to gather. Once you have the fire going, it's pretty quick as to the boiling and starting to make drips coming. And the, Ordagka all this time is like staring in wonderment at your apparatus, and he's like, magic? This is magic?
I say, no, you can do this.
You will teach me magic.
This is, hold on. This is the magic of DIY.
Huh. He kind of like smiles and says, and he looks over and he's like, I wonder what would happen if I added certain things and boiled them after they've gone bad at this. Anyways.
Oh my god.
Landry, you might have just introduced alcohol, or heavy, hard alcohol to this tribe. We'll see how that
Sweet.
ends up.
That's fine.
Landry, what are you doing while Max is showing off his intelligence?
Oh, hold on a minute. I wasn't distilling the water. I'm just boiling the water.
Oh, okay. So it's not actually dripping through a tube.
No.
Okay.
I'm boiling a cauldron and then ladling it off into. Once it's boiled, I ladle it off into urns, and
Okay.
I'm gonna be like, these are clean now.
He kind of you do that. You ladle it and you skim off some of the worst of the sediment, and there's a lot of sediment left in the bottom. But it does come out much clearer, less brackish, and yeah, it should not have any viral elements in it that would make anyone sick at this point.
Okay. I take a sip myself from the ladle at some
Okay.
point. Just sort
It
of.
tastes minerally. It tastes kind of like a little earthy, but it's refreshing at least.
I shall call this Greater Ale.
Excellent.
Greater Aid.
Greater. Okay.
Greater.
Great.
Landry, you do not see Modolfir anymore. He has gone deep into the forge. The ponies are also starting to be gathered and pulled into the actual stables nearby. You notice that there's somebody yelling inside the salve shop. There's like an old lady that's yelling out to a hut that's out in front of the salve shop in Orcish. I'll show you what that looks like.
GM.
Yeah, what's up?
Sorry. While I'm waiting for the water to literally boil, can I cast some cure spells on me and Darius?
Yeah, definitely if you have any.
All right, I'll roll it and then I'll just ping you how much he gets.
Yeah,
I'll
tell
do
me
it.
which ones are for him.
Yeah.
So yeah, you see this kind of shot of this hut, almost like a yurt with a stone base that's puffing smoke, and there's an old lady standing at the door, yelling towards the hut in Orcish.
Yeah, I'll go over. I know that they are generally just suspicious of me, but I'll, unassumingly walk over just to kind of see what she potentially yelling about, just to make sure that there's nothing like burning down or something in the hut.
Okay. As you approach, you notice an ointment and potion shop, and you notice some of the things that Max carries around, like alchemical things. In the one window, you see some unique and unusual ingredients, and there's the large cast iron tools of an alchemist. And the woman's kind of like looking over at Max and just kind of chuckling and shaking her head. And then she notices you walking up. It's a sort of stout half-orcish woman with long toothed tusks. And she sits back on a chair behind some tools. And she starts talking to you in Orcish. And then she says, outside. Not you. Not you. And she kind of like waves your hands out of the shop. Like
Yeah, I'll just
universal motion of shoo.
All right, I'll just nod my head and just back off and walk back towards Max and go just sit by him while he's boiling water.
Okay. You do hear a commotion of somebody frustratedly yelling within the yurt. Maybe to himself, maybe to the old woman. Anyways, yeah. You walk back to Max, who has now made a good amount of water. Max, now that you've done that...
Do I get the sense that these people have... like cauldrons and I mean, like, this is a very colonizer attitude, but like, yeah, like, will they be able to repeat this process once we're gone?
Oh yeah, like you notice now from where Lanray is walking back that there are hanging tools of pots made out of metal, various sort of containers that they could replicate this with, and yeah, he basically smiles once you've created the water. Ordagkau smiles and goes, you commit the same things that the shamans do. You make good water from this.
I'm happy that you will be healthy.
We will see. And he kind of takes the container you've made and he goes, I'm still suspicious. Suspicious! And that's like the maximum he can speak common. He just says, suspicious, and walks away.
Cool.
Okay. So a little bit of help for the village. Are you going over to the forge where you last saw Modolfir?
Yeah, I'll pack up my stuff, and I mean, I imagine it's gonna take the cauldron some time to cool down, so I might be here for a while. I don't know. I mean,
yeah, I'd say 30, 40 minutes or so, but eventually you pack it up. It is starting to become dusk at this point. A hard dusk is coming. There's a bit of a chill in the air, but you notice that the forge has a warm fire up ahead. Lanray, at this point, are you with Modolfir or are you with Max still?
I'll probably go check on Modolfir just to make sure that he's okay and doesn't look like he needs any help.
Okay.
When I do get to the forge eventually, I don't know if it's in this upcoming scene, but once I get there, I'm gonna go next to Modolfir and place my hand on his shoulder and cast 2 Cure Light Wounds on him.
Okay, go ahead and roll those out. Let him know how much he gains. And Modolfir, you've been having a nice conversation. You've been having some... oh, nice. You've been having a little bit of elk jerky that your uncle has saved. You're sitting by the warm fire recounting stories of the past. And he smiles as Max and Lanray are in the room now too. And he goes, welcome. You are welcome here, Wolfadin. And he waves around to this pretty simple stone, hovel with barely any roofing. And he basically says, you may stay here. Here you may stay. In common. And he smiles over at Modolfir.
Max nods universally.
Uncle kind of stands up using a cane, like a staff cane, to just stand up and grabs you all some food as well.
Just explain to everybody to make themselves at home. Just generally, our people are distrusting of outsiders, but they're not. They're not bad people. They just tend to keep to themselves. It'll take some time for everybody to have even a bit of trust for anybody that is not from around here. So don't let that put you off.
Modolfir, while you're here, are there any stories or questions or anything that you might have for your...
Yeah, immediately. How are they still alive? I need... Modolfir would want to know, what happened with the hunt, where when the soldiers were hunting all the Wolfenbeer down. How they made it out, and are there any other Wolfenbeer around?
Your uncle's face kind of goes sullen at this as he's almost recollecting. And he tells you, your aunt, Susanna, she of course didn't make it. They hunted the Wolfendeer and us, the Wolfaden. We tried to assist, but it was clear that there was no ability but to get to safety. Many of us fought to the death alongside our kin. Unfortunately, I do not believe there are any more alive of the Wolfendeer, other than you, Medolfir, and of course of Alana. And Alana is your cousin. Her last name is Wolfenden. You are the two final Wolfendeer.
Yeah, of course, thank him for the story. And I just the rest of the evening, tell him stories about the world, the part of the world that I've found myself in, and footnotes version of everything that's happened.
Sure. You guys regale
Also,
him with stories.
Yeah. I'm also going to give him, because I've been carrying it around, haven't done anything with it. I'm going to give him one of those yet hides that I have.
Okay. Go ahead and remove it from your inventory for me. And then he kind of smiles and says, you have taken down a creature of great strength to capture this beautiful hide. Thank you, Medolfir, for honoring me.
Oh, I mean, it makes for great clothing, and then show the fact that I got one on, right?
Yes, I shall try to fashion one of my own. Perhaps for Alana. So, in terms of your sleep tonight, are you guys going to take double rest? Essentially, are you trying to do anything special in your sleep tonight?
I'm definitely casting restful or healthful rest for Medolfir.
Okay.
Right now, I'm only limited to one creature, but yeah. So he's gonna get twice the normal amount of regain. Before we go to sleep, I'm also gonna give one more cure light wounds for each of the three that are injured. Me, Max, Medolfir, and Darius.
Okay. Go ahead and give me the numbers for that. And Medolfir, I did already add those 16 from earlier to you. So go ahead and add another 5 for yourself, Medolfir, and I'll add Darius's 6.
I didn't even realize I had 16 from earlier.
Yeah.
Where did the 16 come from?
The 2 8s you rolled earlier.
No, the first 8 was for Max. The second 8 was for...
Oh, sorry. So let me tweak that. So now you're down to 17. Okay.
Teacher, do we have any homework?
Yeah. Okay. So, and you cast the spell for Restful Night on Medolfir. So basically, he's going to be treated as if he's getting long-term care, I believe. 2 hit points per level.
Healthful rest doubles the subject's natural healing rate. Each affected creature regains twice the hit points ability it otherwise would have regained. So if we actually do long-term care, then he would get quad. It's
okay.
I haven't
so you
made
have to
the
pass
decision.
the heal check. Yeah. And then the other question you guys have...
But either way, we'd at least get double, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. The other question you guys have in front of you is, do you risk staying here for longer through this day and next day to do a complete full day's rest, which would get you 4 hit points per level with a successful long-term care check? And, obviously for Medolfir in that situation, it would be 8 points per level for that full 24 hours of rest without going anywhere. Are you guys going to risk the travel for that?
That would put us at effectively 2 days from when Me-Man passed. Gentle repose
Yes.
would only last for another day after that. We don't know.
I can cast it again though.
Yeah, but
No, you cast it from a scroll last time, I thought.
Because I didn't have it prepared. But if we're going to be resting, I'll know what to do, and then I can prepare it, right?
But there's also potentially issues around any kind of resing magic the longer he's dead. So.
No, so the way that gentle repose works is it basically instantaneously stops any of the deceasing actions that occur as soon as it was cast, and any subsequent casting as long as time does not return. So essentially, he had died for 2 rounds before that was cast on him. So it was pretty quick in stopping it, which allows for all sorts of potential opportunities to bring him back.
Yeah, I mean, we could even, if we even find someone with like Revivify, I think we can do Revivify, because that's what, 1 minute?
Yeah, Revivify is number of rounds per. Let me check. It's a per round, but it's still multiple per level. It is must be cast within 1 round of the victim's death. So no, Revivify wouldn't be possible, but other ones would be.
Oh, okay. Right.
Yeah, unfortunately, you didn't get it on the same round.
So basically, any spells that are, bringing a person back to life that specify amount of time, this period of time that he's under the gentle repose just doesn't count towards that.
Bingo. Yep.
Okay. Then in light of that, then yes, I would say let's risk it, but a minute more. As soon as we end that rest, we got to hit the road.
Okay. So that being the case, is anybody going to attempt a heal check for long-term care? I believe, is heal a forced rank?
It's not a trained only.
Okay, so it's not trained only. So anybody can try it, but you can only do it to one person. So you could do it to yourself, or you could do it to one other person.
So the person doing the heal, would they get rest?
The person doing the heal for the long-term care specifically could only either apply it to themselves. Oh, you know what? Actually, I'm misreading this. You can do it to 6 patients at a time. So yeah, and given that they have bandages and salves, yeah. So you could basically try to do a round robin, and whoever succeeds could do it to 6 people.
No, that's not my question. My question was the person performing the long-term care on others, would they also get?
No, long-term care explicitly can't be done to yourself. No,
that's not what I'm asking. Do they get a normal rest?
Yeah, you would still get a normal rest.
Okay.
The resting will happen in between when you're doing like the application of bandages and stuff. Yeah.
So then whoever's like the least beat up should be the one that does that, I guess.
Everyone looks at you, Lanray, and Jameson, who are still pretty okay from the battle. Do you accept the task, Lanray?
Yeah, sorry.
Before we take a rest, let me see here. Okay, so I did those 3. That gets me.
Lanray, why don't you go ahead and give me the heal check? You need to hit a DC 15, otherwise Jameson's going to have to step in and try it. Okay, yep, that's for Medolfir. So Medolfir, for 24 hours, you might actually gain back 8 per level. Oh, nice, Lanray. That was a good roll. 14. That is enough to do it. So Lanray, being the sort of healthiest of the group, starts to take some of the bandages that are around and applying them. Medolfir, with your adrenaline from the battle and the death of Mayman, you are pretty quick to go to sleep, I would imagine. In this place of your kin. I you all are going to rest for 24 hours. It's going to basically, once you guys are done with this process, you're not sleeping the entire time, but you are resting. You can do some other sort of little things in between, but generally you can't do anything strenuous. So Madolfir, you're going to gain back 8 times your level, which is, I believe, 80 points of health.
Nice.
Max, you are going to gain back 4 times your level, so 40 points, which puts you to full, I believe.
It puts me exactly to full.
Yep. Varg is going to get back 6 times 4, which puts him back to 24. That's full health for Varg also. Mayman doesn't get helped, obviously. And then Lanray, you just gain... Max, you put 48 instead of 58 for some reason.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And
Thanks.
Lanray, you just gained 2 times your level, so that would be 20 points, which is back to full for yourself.
Sweet.
The uncle kind of smiles, as does Alana after... You know, you guys basically are lazeabouts. You watch her do some various foraging, and she's crafting axes. It looks like they're not weapon-grade axes. These are axes for the usefulness of, you know, people who are chopping down trees. They're tool style as opposed to weapon. After the full day, it is dusk again. And Alana's like, please, cousin, won't you stay another day until you are fully feeling better? Perhaps just another night, and then you can be back to your journeys, and who knows when we'll see you again.
I would very much love to stay longer than I can. But it weighs on me greatly that my companion has fallen. I would like to see him brought back to the living as soon as possible.
Understood. At least we will have tonight. And she pulls out a little bit of a flask. And she says, I've been hiding it from father. Tradesmen traveling with goods had this at one point. And it's pretty good, I think. And she starts pouring it into a little glass. And you can notice your uncle's kind of asleep at this point, and the rest of you are sort of gathered around the forge fire, which is the fire within this. There's all just one fire. And she pours into a little, like not a glass, but like a little clay cup for each one of you, this brown liquor. Well,
oh my God.
If you are to... Yep.
Look at the bottle she's pouring this from.
As she pours it, it is a dwarven scotch. It is not Portmaster's, Stablemaster's port.
That would be hilarious.
That would be amazing. Not this time. It is just she's like, oh, you wish to look at the flask, and you smell it, and you're like, oh yeah, this isn't port. This is some sort of hard liquor, like a whiskey of some sort.
I don't know.
She raises the cup and says,
go ahead.
To your journeys and to your hunt, she says to you, Vidovir. And to bring back your friend.
And to friendship and family.
She smiles. Are you all drinking it?
Yeah, I guess I will. I don't want to offend anybody.
Okay, everybody give me a constitution check. Good. But Ophir, you've had heavier liquors than this. It goes down pretty smooth. Max, as you drink it, you're on the verge of like spitting it out, but you are able to contain it and drink it, and like your eyes get a little wide, but you know, you're not drunk or anything, but you almost spit it out accidentally. It's harder liquor than you're used to drinking.
I say, smooth!
So, with that, with some stories further to be told, you guys get rest again? Is anybody sort of keeping up through the night, or are you all just trying to get some rest and leaving in the morning?
I'll do a watch for the first part of the night.
Okay. Do so. Max, anything from you that you're trying to prepare now that you're not long-term caring?
I don't think so.
Okay. Very
I
good.
don't think I have time to. I don't have time to make any scrolls or anything, do I?
You have some time if you don't sleep. You could just use the night, but you might get tired, in a couple days from exhaustion, etc. But you don't have to sleep tonight.
I'll do a watch, but I'll.
You'll still get some rest.
Yeah.
Okay. Understood. You guys swap watches. Madolpir, I take it you're just trying to get some sleep since you're not full health.
Yeah.
Okay. Max, are you doing that same trick as before?
Yeah, I mean, I would have my spells again, right?
Oh, that's true. You could just spam cast light wounds if you want.
You know what?
You know that if you were to give him just the healthful sleep spell, he would probably also regain all of his strength by tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll do that again.
Okay.
And then that's what I'll do.
Okay.
I guess I'll spam whoever needs it. Does anybody else need it?
Yeah, because regular resting got me to 107, so that I'm only 12 away from full after that. So.
Okay. I mean, between my Pearls of Power and my Cure Light Wounds, I think I can do it like freaking 7 times. So
yeah.
And then I would go to sleep. So yeah, you're maxed.
Max.
Same thing with Darius. I mean, I want to get everybody up to max.
Understood. Yep.
Yeah. I think I don't have to roll it. I think it's way more than necessary, right?
Yeah, you don't have to roll it. It's way more. But you have like 7 of those, so it's plus the pearls. Okay. One thing you notice, Max, as you're doing that with Madolpir and he's looking better, you notice that his amulet of health that used to help his constitution and his cowl of bear's endurance, which you did identify from the marauding that you guys did inside the Planetum, only the cowl is really affecting him anymore. The amulet, which is only +2 enhancement bonus, is not helping since there's an overlap in the enhancement bonus.
I kind of touch the amulet a little bit, and then I say what GM just said.
Okay. So you guys can figure out if you want to give that to somebody else. Lanray also has an amulet of health already, so pretty much it's either going to be one of the Acers or Max who would use it.
What slot does it take?
Neck.
I don't have any neck stuff right now, so
Take it back.
I guess. Right.
Okay. I will
Yeah,
transfer it
so you-
over to you. Max, you look spiffy with your new amulet of health that I have now transferred over, and it should immediately be affecting your con, which it is. So I will remove that from Dolphiers. Okay. Beyond that, you guys do have a bunch of stuff that you took. Lanray, in your inventory, you do have that the brain spider, which was the only other thing I think that you guys identified. And obviously within the bag.
Oh, I do have the identify spell. I could cast it like between the 2 rests.
Yeah, you could.
Okay.
You wanna...
How many items do we need to identify?
Man, I'd have to check the bag of holding. How many can you do with that?
Well, each casting is 1.
Okay.
But I have a number of pearls that I could use as the material components. So let's see. There's a dagger.
Yep.
With
Dagger.
transmutation on it. We got 2 scrolls.
2 scrolls, a ring, and a ruby is my count that you haven't identified yet.
The ruby
and
has a magical enchantment on it?
Yeah, the ruby has a magical enchantment on it. It was giving off enchantment magic.
Okay.
Strong.
The scrolls, can I just cast read magic?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, so for the scrolls, I'm just going to read magic and I'll know what those are.
Okay.
And then, so there's 4 other ones?
Yes, plus the scarf.
No.
Including the scarf, yeah. 4 total
so
with the scarf.
4, yeah. So 6 with the scrolls, 4 without the scrolls. All right, I'll remove 4 pearls from my inventory, and I'll identify all those 4 things and the 2 scrolls. With the
Is it
rematch.
automatic with the identifier, or do you have to actually beat a...
Yeah, it's identical.
Yeah, it is. As long as it's not an artifact, yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
you do determine... I will ID them. The first thing that you determine is a Dagger of Disintegrate. You determine that it is +1 enhancement, and then on a command word, the command word being avoidance. On that command word, once per day, a creature that is struck by the dagger takes the effects of the Disintegrate spell. Except that it is not on a touch, it has to be on a full strike against the standard AC of the target, as if it were a normal weapon.
Wow.
It is a caster level 12.
So is the trigger for the enchantment
command?
Is it a command or is it use?
It is, as you strike, you have to be in contact with the person and then use the command as a swift action. So it is a swift action as it is striking a being.
I tell people.
Okay.
Okay,
and it is. You were garbled there, Midolfir. Can you repeat?
I said, so in other words, you couldn't activate it using the dagger as a thrown weapon. You have to be in melee to trigger that.
You don't have to be touching the dagger. It only has to be touching the person that you're trying to disintegrate. So theoretically, you could use it as a thrown dagger, as long as you get the one chance either way. And it is expended no matter what when you use the command word for the day. If it does, it doesn't. It has to be announced.
It's once per day.
Yeah, it is once per day.
That's strong, dude. That's amazing.
That's very strong. Yeah, that's what happens when you break into an archmage's chambers. The next thing you have is a Ring of Animal Domination. The ring effects can be used twice per day. It is on command word also, which is unusual for a ring. But it essentially affects a creature as if the wearer had cast Dominate Animal. And that is an enchantment.
I'm a little bit worried about Midolfir having that dagger.
It's in the bag of holding. So you guys can figure out whether Midolfir gets that or not.
Max slips that dagger back into the bag of holding once he gets it. Like, I don't know. Let me think about this.
On Mayman, the item that he has is a Scarf of Scintillating Patterns. The wearer of this scarf is able to cast Scintillating Pattern once per day. And the scarf basically turns into a twisting pattern of coruscating colors that float in the air. Basically, the total number of hit dice of creatures equal to the caster level, which on this was a caster level 8, are affected, and those who are closest are affected the first. And let's see, it can turn people unconscious, stunned, confused, up to a certain amount of HD. Okay. And then finally, in the bag of holding is a ruby. Max, as you touch this ruby, you take it out of your bag, right?
Yeah.
You feel as if you have created a scroll as you take this out. It is irradiating some strange energy, as if you had just expended some of your abilities to create a magical item. And as you pull it out and identify it, setting it down, you notice that there is a continuous effect on this. An invisible mobile field surrounds you while you are holding this ruby, preventing any creatures from approaching you. Any creature that tries has to make a will save to do it. So it's essentially a ruby of repulsion. Now, with a DC 20 to get it. I need you to make a fortitude save since you picked it up out of the bag.
Cool.
This is going to be fortitude. Okay. You
That's
pass.
a nat 20.
Yes. You pass, obviously. You do not take 100 XP worth of irradiating damage. This ruby works for the person who's carrying it, but while you carry it, each day you have to pass a fortitude save if it is outside of any kind. It doesn't affect you if it's within something that takes it to another plane, right? So your bag of holding was protecting you during it. But if you are to actually carry it and use it for its usefulness, you have to make a DC 20 fortitude save or lose 100 XP each day, once per day. And if it gets handed off to somebody else, they also have to make it as soon as they come into contact with it.
Okay, so do I have information about what the DC for that is?
The DC is a DC 20 fortitude save for the person who carries it, and it's a DC 20 will save for anybody who tries to approach it while it's activated.
Does that include allies?
No. You know what? It is allies. Any creature. So this is kind of like
a showing is identified in the bag of holding.
Oh, sorry, I'll do it. There you go. Now it is. Yeah, it's any creature. So it's kind of like an oh shit, I need sanctuary thing. All right, and the scrolls I am identifying.
The only potential negative is you lose some XP.
Once per day, 100 XP. Yeah, if you don't pass the save. But if you have really good wills, fortitudes, then no worries. The scrolls are a scroll of Mage's Sword and a scroll of Guy's Quest. You probably know what both of those are, but the quest one is very interesting, Max. There's a high level 11th caster level 11 scroll. Basically, it forces somebody to obey your sort of request for them to undertake some actions. Yeah. Okay.
It would be hard for me to cast that right now, though.
Yes.
So I explain all the items to everybody. Since I already passed the fortitude save for the repulsion, should I hold on to it for a day?
You can. Yeah, you've already passed it, so there's no negatives to it.
And then I could hand it off to somebody with better fortitude saves after the day.
You could.
Hold on, this is between our rests, right? So I would be.
This is.
It'd be half a day wasted anyway. But I could hold on to it for a little while and then hand it off to someone else.
Its most usefulness is the fact that you can take it out of a bag of holding to activate it when you want, because otherwise it's continuous and nobody will approach you within 10 feet.
So whoever wants that.
Just keep that in mind. Yeah. Lanray, you have a quiver that acts the same way. A fishing quiver, if you wanted it.
Yeah, that works, unless Madolfir really wants it.
It's a scary weapon, or a scary item to give to a range fighter. It's pretty good. Alright, so I will go ahead and take it out of the bag of holding and add it to your inventory. Okay, so is there anything else that anybody explicitly wants right away? And I'm putting that in your fishing quiver. Otherwise, basically Max gingerly puts it in your fishing quiver so that you don't have to take an XP check
Gotcha.
on this day. And he explains it to you. Okay, since nobody else wants anything from these magic items, the night passes. Madolfir, you're back to health. It is the morning. It is bright. There are birds. There are condors. There are beautiful flora and fauna that you guys are not used to. Heading north out of this town. As you say your goodbyes, you begin your journey towards the shaman's hut?
Yes, out of character though, I totally want the ring.
You totally want the ring of
Yeah, dominate monster. Can Madolfir have a ring?
It's a dominate animal, to be clear, not monster.
Well, yeah. Sorry, animal.
No objections from me.
Okay.
So as I take the ring out, I'm gonna also take the dagger with it.
Okay.
Oh,
Max.
what happened to the?
I'm gonna make sure Max is not watching when I do this. No, I'm kidding. I don't want to.
All right.
I don't want to PK in the party.
What's your ranged attack bonus?
Dolphirs?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have the highest dex. It's not bad, but hold on.
Like under combat, what's your ranged?
My ranged attack bonus is 12.
Wow, that's like double mine. Okay, great.
Max, are you casting Gentle Repose?
Has it been 3 days?
No,
it's been 2 days.
Yeah.
Do you want to wait for the
third day? You know what? I'll cast it since we're staying in the village, and I'll do it while we're in the village. Yeah. So now it's gonna be freaking
10 days.
9 days.
9 days. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
And it's new clock. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So here's a quick question. There was a masterwork dagger in the bag of holding. Did somebody take that one?
No.
What?
No. Nobody's taken that one.
Well, it's got a slash through it, like it got deleted. Okay.
I think I accidentally clicked it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I'll take the scrolls.
Okay. Go. Let me do that.
I got it. I can do it.
Okay. Okay. So the dagger of disintegration is going to stay in there for now. Ring of.
You know what? I'll tell people that what it is and why it's kind of dangerous, and I will allow people to be adults and make their own decisions. I personally am not great with throwing shit, so.
So don't fear you want that dagger or no, Landry?
Landry has a decent dex as an archer, right? Yeah. I mean that sounds like a good thing for a ranged attacker to have.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Okay.
Use an upgrade there.
It is now in your inventory. Okay.
I mean,
giving
it to Midolfer is like handing a psychopath a loaded handgun, right? So.
Yeah. Okay. So everybody's inventories are updated accordingly. As you leave, your uncle points to a little bit of like a sled, almost like a dog sled, and says, "If the journey gets rough, you may want to have this for your fallen friend. Please take it. We do not need it." And you see that it's actually fit out so that Vard could potentially drag, or somebody else, one of the party members could drag Mayman's body.
No, great. That help us on our journey. Thank you.
Of course. Be safe, nephew.
I will, and I will. I shall return. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, man. Emotional goodbyes and hugs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alana is not to be found. She kind of busies herself as you guys depart the town. You guys make it north of the village. It's about 3 hours, closer to like 2 hours of walking, when you start to come across the portion that leads you to the high walk. Up ahead, you see a large, sort of high hills, river, waterfall. It's not a river, it's like a very engorged kind of creek. As you guys approach, you see that it is the bridge, the rope bridge that would cross is tattered and dangling to some extent. What are you guys doing?
We have to cross said bridge.
You do, yeah. That is how you get to the high walk.
One at a time. Do we have any, Max, do you have any magics that may help reinforce those tattered ropes?
I mean, I have mending. I'm still rearranging the freaking spells from sleeping. But let me see here. Would mending be something that would fix this?
It could. It's a lot of bridge. It's pretty wide. It's
Okay.
it's about a 60-foot crossing.
Honestly, I don't know if I would have the luck to prepare mending ahead of time.
Yeah, it's fair.
Do we have any mundane magic like rope?
Are you getting close to the bridge to kind of figure out if you can actually do something to it? Right now, you're pretty far away from it.
I would not be the person that's like, oh, let's stay away from it. So it's up to Midolfir.
Okay. Midolfir, you want to approach and take a look at the thing?
Yeah, like a rope used to kind of judge the rope. I mean, what checks do I need to make here?
Like a spot check, I would say. If anybody wants to do a spot check to see what's actually broken here. Okay. Lanray, do you want to do one too? Okay. Lanray, you notice that parts of this rope bridge look like they've been dismantled purposely. And as you approach, let me pull you guys over here. As you approach, sorry, let me pull you into the scene. Drop group token. Just off anywhere. Okay. So, as you approach this bridge, you guys can see the scene. You notice that it is definitely purposely been cut, Lanray, and just as you're inspecting it, some of the boulders around you start to move. And you notice these two bulbous kind of boulders appearing and growing appendages almost. Max, they look like they're made out of rock. And they start... You could swear these boulders are like Gerbil talking to each other.
We got rock people.
Hold on. This is like my let me see. Do I know? No, I don't. Oh, that's too bad. Do they look like they're advancing on us in any way?
They're like standing up, and if anything, they're like moving towards each other, and like you could swear they're having a conversation or arguing with each other.
Is this something that anybody have seen in his previous travels here?
Midolfir, you do believe that these are Galabdur, who are Earth Elemental Guardians of the Boulder Pass. They're generally like, you don't want to fuck with them. They're pretty dangerous, actually. But they're not aggressive. Okay, Max. You know that these guys probably speak Terran. Is that what you're casting?
So also like just in,
I don't have to specify. I don't have to specify a language when I cast that.
Okay, fair enough. Yep. What were you asking, Midolfir?
I was just gonna I let the party know they're not attacking. They're guardians of the bridge.
Yeah, and Max,
That's
as you start
very
casting that, as you cast that, you start understanding the language that they're having, and you start overhearing. I mean, you're not supposed to be here. This is my spot. I've told you so many times. Just go further down the river. And the other one's like, why do you get to keep this spot? This is my spot. And he's like, no, it isn't. And then they both kind of look over at you, and they go, there's no bridge here. You can't cross.
Gentlemen, I say in Terran.
Whoa. And they're like, whoa, you're a weird looking Gallop Dur.
I'm disguised currently in order to make these flesh bags less suspicious of me.
Oh, you're the smartest Gallop Dur of all of them. What are you guys doing here? Oh, maybe he can help us. No, we don't even know him. We can't ask him for help. He could probably help us.
Listen, I enjoy helping people, especially two excellent specimens as yourselves.
One excellent. He's a douchebag.
Is
I am not a douchebag.
All right. Do I look at the one that just said like the other one's a douchebag and say, is it okay if I spend some time here and try to determine that on my own, or do you insist that I accept your assessment of his douchebaggery-ness?
You know who used to be really good at like knowing which one of us actually was the douchebag? Oh man, are you you must be talking. Yeah, you're talking about Gripke. Yeah. Gripko. Yeah, Gripko used to be really good. Where is Gripko? I haven't seen Gripko in forever. And they're like, one of them goes, Gripko, he's so dramatic. Oh my god, this guy. You know the type. And he looks over at you, Max. And then he's like, so should we like kill these people that are following you?
No, they're very useful to me. So here's my question. What is it that you two want?
We're kind of looking for Gripko. I mean, I want to be left alone. And the other one's like, I'm trying to leave you alone, dude. The bridge is broken. And they're like, usually Gripko helps with this kind of stuff, but he's really dramatic. I think he ran away or something. He left a note.
Did you guys break the bridge, or was it broken when you got here?
It was kind of broken. I don't know, man. It's just broken.
I love
this. This is not what we usually do. We're just like up in the hills usually. This is Grippo's job.
Okay, so you guys are like temps. You're not even supposed to be here right now.
Bro, we're not temps. Come on.
Okay. Are you regional managers and you're having to fill in for this employee that didn't show up on time?
I'm the regional manager. He's the assistant to the regional manager.
Okay, so he's the assistant regional manager. Gotcha.
No, he's the assistant to the regional manager.
I look at the other one, and then I look off into the fourth wall as if I'm looking at the camera.
All
right. So now that the office scene is over, all right. So so can I do like some sort of a knowledge check to kind of like figure out if I know anything about like these rock elementals and like what it is that motivates them? Like,
and are you repeating what they're saying to the rest of the group, or are you just having a conversation with them?
I give the factual information, but not the office gossip. Yeah.
Okay. Madolfir, you know from your past experience that these guys can form like walls out of stone. It seems like a simple enough task for them to create you a stone wall that would cross this place, but they seem really distracted by this Gripko, as Max is telling you. Gripko. Go ahead, Max.
Tell Max, like inform Max what I know about them, and know their ability to like kind of like change their shape to accommodate areas of that they need to occupy. So just let them know.
Okay. Sure.
Okay. Yeah. So like, what kind of a check can I do in order to figure out like what generally motivates?
Yeah. I mean, give me a sense
like
motive, to be honest with you. Unless you want to do like a knowledge local. Now that Madolfir has kind of given you the basic facts.
Okay. All right. I'll do sense motive. It's fine. Well,
sure.
Well,
you can do both if you want.
All right. I'll do the local, and then I'll do the sense motive, and you can determine how to use the two different rolls to aggregate.
So typically, these guys, they might not be saying as much to it, but from what Madolfir has told you that these are guardians of the Sacred Valley to some extent. They guard these kinds of river passes to only allow allies and people who they see as friendly to pass, which generally is the half-orcs generally, sometimes, maybe. These guys seem to be preoccupied and with this Gribko person. And they're like, hey, dude, you're like a really smart Galabdur. Can you like look at this thing he wrote on this rock and maybe you could tell us what the hell it means? And the other one's like, yeah, that guy always talks in like really weird, like he writes his own language and he's like, just come with us. And he goes and he kind of shows you this carving on the wall, which as you start looking at it, I will tell you, this is going to be a cryptograph. It's going to be like a little riddle. You guys will have 2 different timers set in real life to solve this. The first timer will give you a little bit of XP if you cross it in time. And the second timer will be the like failure timer. The first one is going to be a 2-minute timer. Okay. And the second one is going to be a 5-minute timer as soon as I show it to you.
So hold on. Mm-hmm. So the comprehend languages lets me understand writing. What portion of this puzzle is aided by understanding the writing?
I think just the basic elements that they also understand, but this isn't even writing. It's like cuneiform almost. So it's
okay. All right.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm about to show it to you guys. And you have 2 minutes once it's shown to get the XP, 5 minutes total to get it before I remove the note altogether. Here we go. I will start the clock starting in 3. You guys can see it. 2, 1. Starting the clock. And they kind of like whisper, he always signs his name at the end. Work it out. Time is clicking. You guys
Those
doing
symbols don't match up the legend. I don't understand.
They do. The legend is only some of the letters here.
Oh.
You said he only signs his name at the end.
Yeah, he always signs his name at the end.
How many minutes do we have, you said?
2 minutes and then an additional 5 minutes after that before the letter completely gets removed. So how are you guys dividing this up?
What do you mean?
Are you guys dividing it up or are you just trying to do it on the fly? I mean, you guys can write on this, so feel free to start writing letters if you want.
Did they say his name is Gripko? Like with a G at the front?
Yeah, with a G in the front. It's like Gribpo.
It's like that. Grigpo. That's the bottom line.
Okay. I'll write it in for you. Okay.
I'm working my way up from the bottom, so... Alright, so the second to bottom is goodbye, I think.
Which means the cup looking thing is, the double cross saying is D.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I'm going to give you an extra minute because there was some time that you needed to just understand what was happening, so I'm giving you an extra minute.
The play button is B. The male symbol is E.
I think the square is I. Could be I am tired.
Okay.
Of
Feel free to type it in if you want, but I'll put I in for you.
Sorry, how do I type it in? I don't even know.
The double horn is L.
Pencil tool. Okay, your 1 extra minute is about to run out.
The double S is an F, I think.
The one that you just typed, okay, no, yeah, double horn is L. There you go. So That word you just typed the L in on GM as people.
Okay.
Could be I am tired of living in the hills.
Okay.
I think it's people where the people are.
Okay. Somebody writing this down?
We're totally not going to get the 2 minutes. Yeah.
The 2 minutes is done now. So now it's on to the 5-minute timer. So somebody sound out what you think the first line is for me.
I think it's I am tired of living in the hills. Where
Okay. Yep.
The hills alone. I am tired of living in the hills alone.
Okay.
I
Want
to
be where the people are. Goodbye, Gripko.
Okay. As you read that out, you are confirmed that that is what he wrote. Where? Okay. Yep. You guys did solve it within the. Within the second 5 minutes. No extra XP, but you did solve it. The other two rock beings kind of like go like, "Whoa, did he like leave us, bro?" Yeah, I think he's gone. Oh, dude, that is so not cool. Where the hell did he go to? Where are the people? What people? Okay, so you know that he wrote. Okay, what do you got, middle here?
Just out of character. He's at the bottom of the well. Ribco is another one of them, and he took up residence at the bottom of the well in town. And that's why the water's not able to drain out of the well.
Oh my god.
Are you saying this out
That's
loud
amazing.
also?
No. I'm just saying.
Okay.
Hold on, can Max
But, okay,
Max like
yeah.
Alright, so Modolfir, Max looks to you and says, interesting. Where are the various settlements in this region? I know that your uncle is, or the person that you know is over in that direction, but we just came from a town that way. Are there other settlements nearby that you know about?
Modolfir, I would say that you know that for the most part, Arden Pass and the north suburbs of Graydon Dur are kind of the only, like, quote-unquote civilization. Once it breaks into the true Boulder Pass and the outer lands of the Bacchus, it's like every man for themselves, surviving in tents and huts on their own.
Yeah, no, we're on the edge of civilized lands here. The closest town, the only town closest to here is where we came from.
So, what are you guys doing? You guys could try to cross this bridge on your own. Darius is like, we could just fly across. Like, I could just cast it. And the one of the boulder guys kind of looks at you, Max, and goes like, what's that guy talking about, bro?
Okay, so he's telling me some information. I look back at hold on 1 second. I gotta get some more useful information from these flashbacks.
Yeah, cool.
And then I look at Modolfir and I say, okay, so if that's the only town, and this is saying that the and this inscription is saying that he went to where the people are. That's the only place anywhere near here where people are, right?
Yes.
He's got to be somewhere in town.
Okay. I look at the two rock bros and I say, hey, listen, can I lick one of you guys?
What the hell, dude? Did he just ask us that?
This is hold on. No, hold on, man. I feel like I have
Not
to
like
speak
not like
their
that. Not like
language.
that.
I think I have to like speak their language, and their like broiness makes it
Yeah.
acceptable for me to say no homo.
Oh, okay, cool, dude. Yeah.
Omen is disgusted by that phrase, but yeah.
Yeah, bro. Okay, yeah. Ooh.
All right.
We'll do some body shots.
All right,
Hey,
Max.
you gotta say you just gotta add at the end of that when you ask me, you gotta say no homo.
Yeah.
Cool.
So Max goes over and takes a lick of one of the dudes there, like on top of his head or something, you know. Like,
Okay.
Yeah.
He's like, this is so weird, dude. This is like taking me back to frats.
okay. I specifically tasted the water. Oh my god! Oh my god! That's too good. That's great.
Frats is this
But anyway, we were
place-
in Paris.
Frats is this really cool valley where there's like all these weird rocks. It's weird, man.
Oh yeah, I've heard of it. I haven't been.
Yeah.
All right. So, GM, I specifically tasted the water that came out of the well, right?
Yeah.
Does this guy taste like that water?
You remember how you boiled it and it had that kind of like earthy flavor
Yeah.
to it? Yeah, that's like pure earth elemental residue. And as you lick this guy, you're like, yep, that's from the earth plane.
Okay.
Oh, God.
How far away? How many hours have we traveled to get to this point?
About an hour and a half. It's like still early morning.
Okay. I say, okay, I have a theory. I say this to the rock people. I have a theory about where this Gripgo guy is, but hold on a second. I gotta get some more useful information from these jabronis behind me. And then
Jabronis, bro.
Yeah, and I ask everybody to kind of huddle up, and I'm like,
Okay.
all right, guys. And in common, I explain the situation, and I say, do we want to go back and get this Gripgo character out of the well?
I think we should.
Jameson was like, they did promise us salves and potions if we did solve their water problem.
Well, the other problem, though, is that, like, Gripgo doesn't want to be here. They wanted to go somewhere else, right?
You might not want to be stuck, however.
You're thinking this is a... Okay.
Stuck in a
Yeah.
well situation.
This is like a baby Jessica. You know, it's a Terthus thing. You guys probably didn't hear about that.
No, it was
Yeah,
all
it's
over
funny.
the magic news, actually. We did hear about it.
Oh, man, it was on the orb?
Yeah, it was.
Okay, alright. Yeah, alright, so he says to the... Max says, okay, so we're agreed. We're going to go back and try to get this Gripgo guy, right?
Yeah, might as well.
Yeah.
And then maybe ask them afterwards to help us cross the bridge.
Okay.
Yep.
Alright, yeah, so Max turns to these guys and says, okay, listen. We are brave adventurers. Okay? I know. It's
Cool.
kind of interesting, but it's also kind of like meh, whatever, right?
The
But-
smaller of the two rocks is like, this is getting intense, dude. Where's my bowl?
So he says to them, "Listen, if we can get Gripgo back here, so that you don't have to like, you know, take care of his job, basically.
Yeah, hell yeah.
What's in it for us, right? Like, what? I know I want to help you out, but like, I kind of want to use these jabronis to help me find Gripgo. So really, like,
Totally.
like, what's the deal I can tell them so that I can play them along for this scam?
We don't
Yeah.
want to even be here, bro. So that'd be like totally righteous if you could do that. We will go away. We'll make you a little rock bridge so you don't even care about this stupid people bridge that these guys are taking. We'll make you a rock bridge. But like, I don't want to be here and have to defend this valley. That's Grippo's job. So like, yeah, bring him back so he can do his job, bro.
We'll be back in a couple of hours.
Yeah, well, he's
Alright.
kind of slow, but yeah.
Oh,
I don't
okay,
know
all
what
right.
an
So
hour is either.
I point at the sun where it is now, and then I say, and then I point further, like down towards where it's gonna be in a few hours. And I'll be like, we'll be back like when the sun's over there.
Yeah, okay. We'll sense you coming anyways, like from like super far away, so it doesn't matter.
Wait. All right,
Alright,
we're gonna head back. Bye.
cool. Later, bruh. You guys
In a
all
while.
back down? Yeah.
Okay, fine.
Okay, you guys return back to the path to the south towards Arden Pass. You notice, as the morning goes on, there's like a frolicking deer chewing some grass on the side that run off as you approach. But don't fear, this is making you remember all those wonderful hunts that you used to go on. You eventually make it back to Arden Pass. So what are you telling the folks down here? What are you doing?
Just say we wanted to check out something about the well, and then I'm gonna look at Max and comment. Yeah, have at it, Max.
Max is still understanding Orcish, just barely still at this point, because he's still got comprehend languages going.
Okay. So yeah, Max.
I could cast it again. I could cast it again if GM wants me to. I've got it on scrolls also.
Okay. So what are you gonna do, Max?
I explain the situation as best I can, and I say, there's not even a need for violence here. I think we can just get this creature out of here and take them back.
Okay. How are we gonna get him unstuck, Max?
Max says, all right, so first things first, I think we gotta drain this well. How much water do you think is whole?
We've been pouring it for some time, probably at least 50 to 100 gallons.
Oh god, that's a lot.
Yeah.
So we can't really hold on to that outside of the well, can we?
No, we'll lose it if this doesn't work. We're gonna lose all this water.
Okay, all right.
So Manovers is gonna to Max kind of lean in and say, "Why don't you just call out to him down the well and tell him the jig is up?" I don't think he's stuck. I think he's just chilling out there.
All right, I'll try that. Yeah, I lean over the edge of the well, kind of looking down towards the water, and I try to speak in Terran.
Okay. Okay. You do so. You stick your head in and you start talking Terran, which is kind of gurgly, and then you hear back in a little bit of a gurgly kind of sound. Ah, those total nads. Leave me alone. I don't want to guard the valley.
Okay, do you want to be down this well?
I mean, if you know a better place where I could just have some quiet time away from those two jabronis, then I'd be okay with going there. It's got to be super bucolic though. I don't want to be by the river. It's super noisy.
Okay.
I feel everything within 300 feet, and it is so noisy.
Okay, I have a question.
What
do you think of me, man?
What do I think of me, man? Which
No, of me. What do you think of me? And then I say, comma, man.
You seem pretty chillax, bruh.
Okay, we got a group of people up here. Yeah, I know they're not rocks, but we got. Oh, why did I roll a dexterity check?
I have no idea.
Okay, weird. I did not push a button.
Because talking in terms is super physical.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm hanging out with this. There's a wolf, there's a freaking cat, there's a owl, and then there's some people. But we're pretty cool. We're
chill.
we don't even stay in one place. We just move.
Hey,
so if the sound in the place we're in is annoying, we just go. So here's a question. Do you wanna join us?
Dude. What? You're people, but you're not total D-bags.
No, we don't stay in one place. We just go.
Yeah. Nah, that's cool. Yeah, I'm really slow. I'll probably be really far behind you guys, but I might just kind of saunter behind you guys, maybe catch up at times. Always be around. Yeah.
Yeah.
As long as you got the sweet sticky, you know what I'm talking about.
Max kind of goes, hold on, are you a wild card?
Nah, bro, like, I'm like total steady Eddie.
All right. Yeah,
He
I mean,
starts,
that'd be cool.
He starts like going through the aquifer wall. You start hearing like a burrowing sound, and he is starting to come out of the well. You can sense, you've seen yourself burrow when you're in rock god form. You feel like he's actually coming out.
All right, cool, man. And then I sort of like put my hands out to everybody else, like back up.
Okay. Eventually, a little like mound starts forming in the middle of this road, and out pops another one of these little beings, these rock beings. Some of the half-orcs are like, what is happening? And then they notice the water in the well starts draining down into the aquifer itself. And the man who you were talking to before, Ordag Ka, comes over with a bucket, and he's like, the water. And he puts it down, and he brings it back up, and he's like, the aquifer, it's fresh water again. And he thanks Medolfir. He says, if you all need anything from the salve shop, I'm sure that Braha will help you. He's been waiting for this fresh water.
Nice. Since I was talking to the other two, can I take a guess as to what kind of a secret handshake this Grippo guy might want to do, and then I'm going to try to do it with him?
Sure. It's like kind of like rubbing elbows because he doesn't really have hands or anything. It's just kind of like appendages that form out of the rock.
Mm-hmm.
So you figure that out pretty quickly.
Okay. No checks required?
No.
Okay.
No.
All right.
It's like he's pretty plain. He's trying to do it to you to start.
Right.
The rest of you, is anybody taking up the offer of going and checking in with Braha to get various salves?
I think it
would probably be a good idea to see what's available.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess I'll go with Medolfir.
Okay. As you go in, Medolfir, you tell the old lady that the well is working, and she calls out to Braha, who's in the hut. You finally have clear water again. He kind of excitedly comes out. They fixed it, and she goes, they fixed it, and points to you, Medolfir. And he goes, oh, thank the good ones. Okay. Well, thank you, strangers, for doing this. For your good deeds, please take any of these. And he kind of hands out a bunch of potions. He says, I can replenish these pretty quickly now that we have clean water. He points at one. This is a salve of bark skin. He points to another one. That one I'm sure adventurers like you have seen before. This is just a few cure moderate wounds. So he gives you 4 cure moderate wounds.
Look at Max and look at the bag of holding. It's on scoop them in.
Okay.
But I'm also gonna tell him because like 2 people now think me, and I'll be like, and so I'm gonna make sure they realize it was Max that was the key component to getting the well working. So I'm gonna make sure
Max is still out by the well doing secret handshake because it's a really complicated one. Like he's just still out there.
Okay.
Wow.
Sounds good.
So.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's also 1 cure serious wounds in this one. So okay, those 6 potions.
Everything's going into the bag of holding?
Yep, I will put that in there.
Okay.
Let's do a quick. You guys are heading back up to the high walk again, I take it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
You do so with this little boulder person in pursuit behind you, but not keeping up pace that well. But he's like, "Don't worry, bro. Like I can still see you."
How much does he weigh?
Far behind. He weighs like a couple thousand pounds.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Yeah, he's a boulder. Slowly making his way. At times when you look back, you're like, "Whoa, where did he go?" And then you see him moving again. He's like really good at fitting in and camouflaging as a boulder. You all eventually make it back to the pass, where he is reunited with his job. He's like, "Oh no, these freaking jabronis! You didn't bring me back here again."
Oh no, we're just gonna go past here, I think. But we're gonna hang out for a little while, and like until these 2 go away, and then we'll take care of
got it. Yeah.
Yeah.
He kind of yells out to them. He's like, all right, scooch it. And they go, whatever, bro. I didn't even want to be here. And one of them jumps into the water and just kind of like rolls down the river.
Hey,
and
you guys promised us stuff.
And the other one just kind of like disappears into the rock. And he's like, don't even worry about those two. And he like, and he catches up completely. And then he starts casting Stone Wall. So he's keeping up with the word. Wall of stone appears. He forms out like a little wall of stone for you guys.
Cool. Before he disappears?
No, he's like, so like, can I still like come with you guys or whatever?
Oh, the Gripko is the one making the wall. Okay, so the two that said they were going to didn't do it, but Gripko made up for it.
Correct.
Okay. All right.
The other two are total gibber.
Yeah. I look at the party and I'm like, this rock dude can come with us, right? Like, we don't have any issue with him, do we?
Anyone got issues? Jameson and Darius are like, as long as we can keep going forward, he'll just catch up.
No problem with me.
Okay.
I look at the Gripko guy and I'm like, let's go on an adventure.
Okay. At this point, your voice doing the spell sort of starts fading again after about an hour and a half, unless you have another one of those.
On the walk, I have scrolls, but on the walk back to the bridge area here between like the town and here, could I have like been working on hand signals for me and like
kind of like a he's understanding like, come on, let's go, and then stay there.
Like commando style. No, I'm really broing it up. I want this to be like freaking like I don't know, like we were playing COD. And now we're just like, we think we're in the Navy SEALs or something.
They have decent intelligence, so he's picking up on what you're saying.
All right. I'm gonna be like, especially since like you're so good at hiding in places, and we're not gonna like necessarily be standing next to each other. Like these hand symbols or signals are gonna be so useful.
Yeah, totally.
Okay.
All right, so you guys make your way past on the rock bridge. It's about another 3 or 4 hours journey at times. This unnamed being who has been following you for some while, this Galamdur, he appears and disappears, and sometimes you catch in your eye like he's still back there, but he moves slower. Eventually, you guys do make it to the shaman's hut. And we're going to wrap up here. As you approach the shaman's hut, you do see Medolfir. You recognize the shaman, Thorok, who is ahead of you. I will give you Thorok Shaman's character artwork. So, he is kind of just standing there, trying to prepare some various things for the evening as you guys approach. And he kind of waves his hand, he puts it up, and he says, Baruch, strangers, you have come to see Thorok the Shaman. I'm sorry I have not been down to the village and the city. I have not been able to cross the High Walk recently. And I guess with that, we'll kind of close off session. That was kind of fun. Good job on the riddle. That was pretty quick. I was surprised. I think other than me being slow to type, you guys almost had a chance at getting it at 2 minutes, but it ended up being around like 4.5.
No, that was great. I love printing out.
Yeah, that was a good way to shake it up. I liked it.
Yeah. All right, guys. So have a good rest of your Sunday, and we'll catch back up and see if this shaman can do something to Mayman and bring him back.
Cool.
Sounds
All right,
good.
everybody. Have a good one.
All right.
See y'all later.
Yep.